Episode 46 of People I Know show. Curt Carstensen here, trying a Skype call once again with Fillup G, Fillup Guiry, who is currently painting somewhere in Florida, I believe. Is that correct, Fillup?
In Gainesville, Florida, home of the Florida Gators.
And you are from that part of the country. Remind me, I don't know you that well. Met you a few times through my friend and friend of the podcast, John Haddon.
Baby J, that's my homeboy.
That life has led you from beginning to now. You've been a few places, right?
Yeah. I guess I was technically born in. Well, I wasn't technically born in Charleston. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and then we moved around. We got to Florida in like '87. Moved to Jacksonville, and then I lived in Jacksonville for a long time. And then I went to school here in Gainesville, and then I lived in Barcelona for a summer, and then I was a pool boy for like a year or something, and then I got into baseball where I met a friend of the podcast, John Baby J Haddon. And since then I lived in Idaho, New York, Idaho, California, Charleston again, and now back down to Gainesville.
How would you compare Idaho to Barcelona? I'm sure they're a little bit different.
They are very different culturally. In Barcelona, I was actually it was my summer as a anarchist. I stayed in an anarchist squat, and we hung out with anarchists and drank a lot. I guess I don't know. I didn't drink at all, but they it was fun. It was a good summer and very cheap because you just stay in someone else's house, and they don't know that. So that was fine. That was a good time. I think I appreciate it more now than I did then. And then Idaho was also the same because I was broke as hell. So I was still eating trash and living in shady places. The only difference in Barcelona, I didn't work at all. In Idaho, I just worked all the time. So
this anarchist phase of your life, I know nothing about. So please elaborate on how you got into that and what was the point of it.
I'm an anarchist, man. That's just how I do. I am not an anarchist. Although as I get older, they say you get more conservative as you get older. I think the opposite is true of me. I'm actually like sliding towards anarchy because I really just can't stand any what y'all are doing right now. I was dating a girl at the time, and her sister lives in Barcelona full time, and so we were gonna I was graduating, and we were gonna go on a road trip. And we were gonna see a bunch of baseball. But then we got round trip tickets to Barcelona for like $200 or something ridiculous, like super, super cheap through the student travel agency, even though she wasn't actually a student. So we just went there, and her sister lived there, and she had some friends. So we stayed in a squat known as the Crowbar, which has been demolished, I think, since. It was right next to the library, so I just ran some Leonard Skinner CDs and listened to Leonard Skinner all summer, and I don't know, lived as an anarchist. I didn't do anything anarchy though. I didn't throw Molotov cocktails or anything, and sometimes I ended up just arguing with anarchists about siestas. I think because even anarchy takes a siesta in Barcelona. It's
During what hours of the day? I've been to Barcelona, and it seemed like the siestas were kind of long.
Oh, they're like all day. That's like all they do there. And so at first I was like, anarchy can't take a siesta. But then, you get tired. You just need a little nap, You just have a little lunch, take a little nap. It actually really extends the anarchy longer the more you think about it. So, so I did that for like a summer. And then I came home to Jacksonville and ended up as a pool boy because my job as a bridge tender didn't come through in time. So those are my options: bridge tender or pool boy. And pool boy came through first.
Who were you pool boying for?
A friend of my brother's. He needed help, and I was not doing anything. And I was like, I'll clean your pools. So I worked for a pool company. And at the time, I looked a lot like this, except my hair was a ton longer. So you think like sexy pool boy, like shirtless and like six pack, like out back, whatever, like wearing like cool sunglasses and zinc oxide on his nose. and instead you just got like a homeless monster walking through your backyard, checking pH levels and things. The funny thing is that I don't know how to swim. I can't swim, and I don't like water sports, which is a problem in Florida, especially now in Central Florida, because there's nothing to do here but float in springs, and I'm scared of springs because I don't want to be eaten by an alligator or a ball of mating water moccasins. That's a thing, man. It's a thing. So I was a pool boy who couldn't swim, which was, I only fell into one pool, and I really thought I was going to die for like, I don't know, 10 seconds. And then I realized that I fell into the shallow end, and I just stood up.
Oh, Fillup. Okay. So there may be people watching this, but for those that are listening in the normal podcast version, this is I always beginning end of the episode I mentioned check out Facebook, Instagram to see like photos. I think you will want to see, as Fillup described himself, what he does look like today. He's, well, as I'm watching him on the video, you're painting and you're wearing some very old school AM radio station Pepsi hat, KUZZ. Do you know where KUZZ?
That's Buck Owens.
Oh, that's not a Pepsi logo?
No, that's Buck Owens' guitar. Buck Owens from the from Baker Sound. Dude, I got Tiger by the Tail. He wrote Streets. Well, he didn't write Streets of Bakersfield, but his famous song is Streets of Bakersfield. I got this hat when I was in Bakersfield.
Okay.
At their store. But yes, it is a very old school 80s hat. I feel like the higher the crown, the closer to God,
And it's barely on your head, so you're awfully close then, apparently.
I'm very old. I'm like a very old man. My dream is to be like that old man that just wears his hat like not on his head, it just kind of floats there. And you're like, how is it staying on his head? And like moves around and like drives the truck or whatever. But I'm not that old yet.
You're not that old. You've got the style down though.
Oh, I've got old man style, that's for sure.
So as I mentioned already, we met in person probably 4 or 5 days of our lives, I think, but it was over 2 sessions. One time you came to visit in Minneapolis to visit John, and I hung out with the two of you. And then for his wedding almost a year ago, we spent some time together then. And I'd hear him talk about you, and I'd see you post on Facebook, and I always found you interesting. But then meeting you and getting to know you, I don't know what you think of it from other people's perspectives and how often they offer that to you, but just the way you seem to live your life in a way that's just so different than almost everybody I meet, which I aspire to. I don't know if I want to aspire to everything that you do, maybe not, but there's aspects about the way you live that I just think are so freeing and fun. And I don't know if eccentric's the word at times, but maybe not in the right, and always in every capacity, but you do things in a way that you don't seem to care about, either care about or know of like any of the rules that so many other people seem to try to live by. Would you agree with that assessment, Fillup?
I think that's I don't think that's true. I'm a very law-abiding person.
Mr. Anarchist, yes, go on.
But I do have less of a hang-up on, like, I don't know, what people think, because I don't know, like, I've never actually been very, like, cool or whatever. So, like, at some point in the 90s, I was like, oh, shit, I'm not cool. So then you just kind of stop trying. And then, you just stop trying to be. Once you stop trying to be something, then you actually get to be something, So, yeah, I don't know. I just grew up in a very, like, fortunate time and place where you could just do whatever you wanted to do. And, like, all of my friends just did what we wanted to do. And we hung out with people in a scene where, like, you want to wear a dress, you wear a dress, you want to wear fishnets on your arms, wear fishnets on your arms. Like back when I was a kid, you'd have purple hair and they'd call you a freak. And now purple hair is like totally normal, I guess. Like nurses have purple hair. But at the time, it was like a real problem. Like, oh, that guy's got purple hair. He's a real weirdo. But, it's what we did, I guess. I mean, I never had purple hair. But I'm sure there are pictures of me with a goatee somewhere, and that's just as embarrassing.
So the full giant puffy beard, I don't know, puffy might not be the right way, but very full beard has been something that you've had for a long time?
Yeah, I don't know, a decade more, for forever. Yeah, hold on, wait, hold on a second, my battery's dying here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Yeah, yeah, I've had a big beard for a very long time. Because my head is too small for my body. That's the truth of it. You want to know the truth of it? You want me to come clean on this podcast?
I do. I want to know everything about you, Fillup.
My head is too small for my body, so I grew a beard to even everything out. And that's the truth of it.
And this is you made this assessment, or other people told you this, and that was your way of adjusting to fit in?
No, that's my assessment. That's how I know. I mean, you can't really tell. It's a podcaster. I've got a really broad shouldered, big barrel chest, and a small head. So, but you've never noticed that because my beard levels everything out. Look, man, we can't all be as pretty as you. You know what I mean? Like that's not an option for us. So at some point, you just give up trying to be pretty and you stop trying to be cool, and then you end up kind of a, like, I don't know, weird guy with a funny hat and a big beard.
So I noticed as we're talking and mentioned it that you're working on some art right now.
Yeah.
What is it? So I guess more specifically, you're painting. What is it that you've been painting? I do see your Instagram sometimes and see some of the stuff, but what inspires you to paint whatever you paint on a given day when you decide to paint?
I don't know. So I don't know what's inspiring me to paint. I don't really have a full-time job, so I got a lot of time at the house just to hang out. And that's good. So I'm painting a lot at the house. Me and the pup. He's also a wonderful painter. The dog. Would you like to see a painting the dog did?
Yes, you can show it to the video, and I'll describe for anyone not watching video right now.
It's a painting of a sunset. The dog did a sunset painting.
I can't believe a dog did that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a painting of a sunset by a dog. That's why it's in black and white, because dogs can't see color.
You're not serious at all, are you?
No, I did it. But
okay.
That's the painting of a sunset by a dog.
It's very good.
Yeah, thanks. It's gonna be for the Hollywood Hills at sunset by a dog.
And what are you doing with your paintings? You finish a painting. What do you do with it?
I stack them in a room until someone buys them.
And how would someone buy one of your paintings? Say someone listening to People I Know Show episode 46.
Well, if someone listening to People I Know episode 46 were like, dang, that guy sounds like he makes some really awesome paintings, which he doesn't. They can go to Instagram, Fillup_G_art. And that's where my paintings are. And then I just sell them off there. A little Venmo, a little PayPal. And then, yeah, I do that. And then I'm slowly getting back into showing them around Florida. Art walks, and I work at a taco restaurant right now. We got them hanging up there. So yeah, that's what I do.
I will link your Instagram from here so someone can find it. But I do know you spell your name differently sometimes, or at least I haven't quite.
Yeah, somehow I got saddled with this nickname, Fillup, Fillup. Around the 7th grade, which is like a weird nickname because it's not actually a nickname. Fillup is my name. It's just like a visual nickname. And then it kind of stuck around. I'm not really sure how. And then I started painting, so I started signing stuff, Fillup G, and then now I don't think I can go back, at least in painting. So yeah, so it's FILLUPG art. So yeah, that's what I do, and I sell them all pretty cheap. They're like $40 or less usually, and that goes back to the punk scene I grew up in, because You just gotta keep things cheap for the kids, So I do everything. I keep all the paintings really cheap so that $1,000 spent on painting.
No, I mean if I did, I wouldn't. But so
But
let's.
people will, like if
Some
Jay-Z
people.
listening to this, then Jay-Z, you could buy my paintings and I'll only charge you $40. You know what I mean? Like, even if you are Jay-Z and you could pay me $40,000 for the paintings, then I'll just quit for the year. Does Jay-Z listen to this podcast?
I think he does. Yeah, I've gotten many, many messages from him.
Oh God, he is so into messages, isn't he? I'll tell you, that guy's something else.
Explain this to me, Fillup. So you're painting right now, and you just said that if you did sell one for $40,000, you just quit for the year. But right now you are. I guess you moved recently, so you haven't landed the type of job that you're looking for. So you have some time to do some of these things.
Yeah.
If you were to quit painting for a year and have more time to like do whatever else, what would be the next thing you do with all of your extra time?
I don't know. I don't really do too much. I would sit in the chair and read the news and get angry and pet the dog, and then I would just paint.
So you'd start painting again.
Yeah. I stopped painting for a really long time, but now I'm back into it and I kind of like it. So yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what people do when they don't have jobs.
I don't know.
I mean, it's the first time I've really not had like a real job in a long time. So I don't really know what else to do other than, I mean, I'm sure I could like paint or mow the lawn maybe. I know my wife is ready for me to get a job, but I don't know. I don't know what people do when they just hang out all day and do nothing. So I listen to a lot of music and I paint pictures, and then I read the news and get angry, as most people should.
Oh, there's lots of directions to go from there. I want to stick with that for a second, though. So explain this to me. I think if I know right, you see your wife got a job where you're at, so you left what you were doing to come there, and now you're in this transitionary process where you're still searching. Are you searching for whatever type of career that you want to get back into?
Yeah, but I'm also just applying to get a job. I applied for a job as a pressure washer the other day. And then I was watching the Yankees game last night, and they were playing Seattle, and there was a woman pressure washing the roof of CenturyLink or whatever their football stadium is called now. She was pressure washing the entire roof of the football stadium. And I thought, yeah, that would be a good job. You just hang out and you just pressure wash and you just wear some rubber boots, listen to some music, and throw the old whirly bird around. So I'm looking for jobs, and because I am sort of a redneck, I'm not afraid to do the manual labor. So you apply for facilities jobs, there's state jobs, city jobs, county jobs. I always joke that the county job's the best job because you don't have to do anything. Because if you do it today, then what will you do tomorrow? So every county facilities job is just a bunch of guys standing around talking about what they're going to do tomorrow. And they do that until Friday, and then they go home. So it works out.
And they do the same thing the next week. Is what you're saying.
Exactly, man. It's the dream. You get a good pension. So so I look for facilities jobs, but I also try to look for like creative jobs, like marketing and things. But I'm not really qualified for any of that, so I'm not going to do that much longer. So I'll probably get a job as a janitor and then just continue painting on the side. Sort of like Henry Darger, but without the weird naked little girl thing.
You are more well-read than I am because I do not know what you're talking about when you mention that.
Henry Darger was a janitor in Chicago at a hospital, I think. Devout Catholic. And he painted in his apartment for like 40 years and nobody knew. And he wrote a book about the Vivian sisters, I think they're called. And it's like this, like 7 sisters who have to battle these like giant, like, I don't know, soldiers. But it's like book that's like 100,000 pages or something, all incredibly illustrated. And he didn't tell anybody, and then he died. And then they went into his house, and they're like, "Holy shit, this dude's an incredible artist." He was in Chicago. You're close to Chicago. You should go down and see it, man.
Now that I know it exists, I might have to.
Yeah, one of the museums down there has a setup of his house, like of his one-room apartment. So, anyway, yeah. So just janitor who paints weird pictures. That's my dream.
So you're not concerned with your current situation, just still searching for the next gig that you're gonna do, or are you? Like, what do you think about it a lot? Do you worry about it?
I apply for jobs every day. I try not to worry about it, just because I assume it'll be fine. Which is how I think most people live their life, right? Just assume it'll be fine.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I assume it'll be fine, and then I assume I'll be dead, and that'll be that.
If you're willing to describe, I guess you got into your youth a little bit, explaining when you got your nickname. Describe your upbringing, like where and what a normal day was like back when you were a kid. What did you do with your time?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I'm one of 6 kids. And my dad was in the Navy, and my mom was like home. Yeah, she wasn't home. She had a job. But I mean, like, we ranged like, I think the first one was born in 72, the last one was born in 87. So was that 25 years or 15 years rather?
Yeah.
So so we had like the range of kids at all time. So yeah, I don't know. I played outside like a normal kid. We played sports in the neighborhood. Pick up basketball, pick up football. We played baseball and tennis ball because they go further. And made you feel like you could really hit something far. And that's it. And then I got jumped a bunch. And I would sit in my room listening to music.
You got jumped a bunch?
We got jumped all the time, man. I'm from Mayport, from Jacksonville, Duval County, man. We don't fuck around down there.
So what would happen in one of these jumpings? I guess I've fortunately never experienced it, or maybe unfortunately. Maybe it's good for you to
it might be good for you to get jumped once, but not as often as I probably did. I don't know. Kids just beat you up, like 3 or 4 of them at a time. Possibly because you have a rat tail, possibly because you're wearing a Metallica t-shirt or a jean jacket, or possibly because you're just easy and fun to beat up. I don't know.
So this would happen for one of these reasons that you're not quite sure which one it was. Did you then change anything that you did, or what? How would you proceed after that would happen?
You would just go home. You want to hear the funny story? The funny story is I once got jumped. Well, I didn't actually get jumped. There was an attempted jumping, and the ringleader was a girl named Tequila, and Tequila was a large woman, even in the 6th grade. And Tequila heard that I pushed some girl or I hit some girl, which I did not. I've always been very mindful of my manners. But for some reason, I was picked out as the guy who pushed this girl, hit this girl, whatever. So then they tried to jump me. And I don't know if you've ever been chased by a ton of women with the intent to beat you up, especially if one of them's name is Tequila. But it was like a little like confusing at first, and it got very like dangerous. And then this kid like grabbed me and like dragged me by my rat tail basically, and threw me in his backyard. And then the girls just beat on the fence until they got bored, I guess, or until they had to go home. Yeah, so I was once almost beat up by a girl named Tequila.
But someone saved you by pulling on your rat tail and throwing you into a backyard?
Yeah, his name I think was Sean Camacho, which is a dope name.
Oh, you must have more stories than...
I got a lot of them, man. I got a lot of them. And yeah, but you grew up in, like, we lived in like off base housing, so like base housing, Navy base housing, but it was off the actual base. It was basically government housing, like super like sketchy projects, but not as sketchy as like for real projects. So yeah, you had to walk through this neighborhood to get there. It was fun. It's good. You know, it's a good upbringing. Get your ass beat, go in the house and listen to some Motley Crue, whatever it was. Big theater pain guy myself.
Say that again.
I said I'm a big theater pain guy myself.
Okay, yeah. Some of these references, I don't catch them.
Theater Pain, man. The Motley Crue record, Theater Pain. It had a Home Sweet Home, big jam on there. No?
I didn't spend enough time listening to records back in the day. My brother got into a lot of the 70s classic rock, and I'm familiar with some of it, but that one I missed.
Oh, yeah, you should go back and listen to Motley Crue, man. The first 3 albums are pretty good. Too Fast for Love is good. Theater Pain's good. Shout Out the Devil's great. Once you get to Girls, you can kind of just let them go, though.
And that's probably where I started listening to some of their music. I don't know. That's more familiar.
Girls, Dr. Feelgood, and that weird one with the pig on it or something. I don't know. I kind of fell out of love with them after. I mean, Girls was just kind of silly. But if you want to come down and go to Fort Lauderdale, man, we'll fucking go down there and ride motorcycles and go to strip clubs. I'll do that with you.
Okay, I'm in.
I'm actually not going to a strip club with you.
Oh.
We can get motorcycles and we'll ride around.
I'm probably more into the strip club thing than the motorcycle thing. So.
Yeah, I'm not a strip club guy myself.
And you mentioned earlier that, and I guess I recall this, you do not drink alcohol. Did you have ever and stopped, or did you just decide not to?
Nope, I never drank, never smoked, never did drugs, never did any of that stuff. When you were starting doing that, you know, you're like 14, 15 or whatever. I don't know. How old were you when you started drinking?
A little bit, probably at like 14, 15, 16, but I never drank much until I was close to of age, probably.
Yeah. I just never got into it. And then I had an older brother who showed me Minor Threat. And Minor Threat's like a straight edge punk band out of DC. They have a song called Straight Edge. They have a song called Out of Step where the lyrics are don't smoke, don't drink, don't fuck. At least I can fucking think. And I was like, oh shit, you can still be like a cool punk kid and not do all this like drinking and huff and glue. So that's what I did. I didn't drink. I didn't huff Scotch Guard. You ever huff Scotch Guard?
I didn't do that either. I missed out on so much.
Man, you got to come down to Florida, man. We'll get you right.
I bet we will. So when people do what's a Google search? A man in Florida Google search or something? Have you ever popped up on one of those? Do you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like a totally like normal person, law-abiding, hang out by my house and do nothing. You see me, I'm fidgeting with stuff here while we're talking. I made all these postcards to sell, and one of them I'm gonna show you because it's we're on video. We can do that, but it says Florida man versus everybody, which is like one of like those things people do. But on the bottom it says, but mostly the cops. So, no, I don't mess with cops, man. I don't do anything to get myself in trouble or out of trouble. I mean, yeah, I'm the sober guy. I'm the guy driving. I'm the guy who makes sure everyone's, not getting arrested by the cops.
You are. It's kind of strange, I guess, to perceive it because you could very easily, like, if someone was to judge people, look at this guy, Fillup, and think, what's he on? What's going on with him? But you are straight as an arrow, I suppose.
Straight as an arrow. Just a boring old man.
But you're not boring.
Nah, yeah, it's pretty boring. But yeah, it's I don't do any of that stuff. But at the same time, like, I also don't really like hanging out with sober people, so it's fine, like, I don't drink or smoke drugs or any of that stuff, but I still like to party, man. I like to hang out till 3 a.m, chit-chatting, doing whatever.
So at one point, Fillup, when I was thinking about starting a podcast and what type of podcast to have, I thought maybe one day I'll have a podcast called The Funny People I Know Show or something like that. And hanging out with you, it's always seemed to be a good time, and the few opportunities I've had. I'm curious, have you ever considered doing some sort of comedy, stand-up comedy storytelling? Because you seem to have stories, and you have a demeanor which I just think can get some laughs. Is this something you've ever thought of doing or done?
No. The funny thing about all that is that I'm actually pretty introverted. Like, yeah, I don't really like to be in front of people or draw attention to myself in a way that like that would entail.
Okay.
So, like small groups, man, I'm there. I'm all there, man. Let's hang out, fucking make jokes, and do dumb shit all day. But yeah, when it comes to like being in front of people, I'm not really a big fan of it.
You
But
were
like in Charleston when I worked with the River Dogs there, the Yankees affiliate there. We had to make these stupid videos every week, Dave TV, and like that was actually probably my favorite part of that job was doing the stupid videos. Not that I was in all of them, but I was like, yeah, I was like involved in all of them for the most part. And then when I was in them, it was weird because like if you look at a team of baseball employees, they're all very like normal looking and they're clean cut and they're like the same like sports management like nerd stamped out of like every Barstool sports comment section, which is kind of why I hate sports. And then there's me, and you know I have a giant beard and like over time I had super long hair, and I was dressed in a black t-shirt and black pants and black boots every day, no matter how hot or cold it was outside. I just worn the same thing every day. So eventually, like fans are like, "What is this? What is going on over here with this guy?" And I don't have a friendly demeanor. Like I'm very nice, and you hang out, we'll chit chat all day. But like, if you see him on the street, like I cross the street when I see you coming. Not for me, like I'm not scared of you, but I'm like, you know what, this guy doesn't need that stress in his life right now. And I live in Gainesville, it's a college town. Like I'm out and about at 2 a.m, you know, and they're like college girls everywhere. And they, you know, I'm just like, you know what, let me cross the street for them. Let me just go over here so they know that like I'm not going to like hurt them because I'm not going to hurt anybody. But if you look at me, you're like, oh, this guy's whacked out on like, you know, some sort of drug and he's looking for trouble. But I'm not, you know, I just look that way.
It's funny that you're aware of this possibility of how you're perceived.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'4" and like 220. Like, I'm not a small person, and I'm dressed all in black, and you know, I look menacing. So I'm just gonna cross the street so that you don't have to stress about this, like, you know, ugly dude. Anyway, so I do all these videos, and then I'd like end up standing around while they're showed in the stadium or whatever, and then in it I'm like acting like a doofus or I'm doing something stupid or like, you know, doing something, and people are like, then they'll come up to me like, oh my god, that was so funny, you did this, and then I'd be like, oh hey, blah, 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 and like be friendly to them. So I loved making the videos, but I didn't really enjoy the part where I then had to talk to strangers about being funny.
So you're saying until people recognize that, oh, he's actually not menacing and weird, they don't talk to you. But then in that case, they would recognize that, oh, this is a cool guy and I want to talk to him. And you got annoyed with them talking to you.
I didn't get annoyed with them talking to me. But you know, like it's tiring talking to people. I don't know how you do a podcast like this.
Well, I'm talking to one person at a time,
I
which
guess
I enjoy a lot better.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'm not, when the group gets larger than 4, I basically don't say anything. And
I'm the
like,
same.
there's so many other people competing for time in that space, usually, that I'll recognize when no one else wants to talk and then I can talk. But if I'm with people that like to do the talking, then I guess I'll just observe because there's not a lot to say to try to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah. So I grew up with like a circle of friends who I'm still friends with. Like I haven't made I mean, other than like, you know, Baby J, like I've made a handful of friends since high school, like, or college, you know, like not that many. Because like I have all these good friends from high school. Why would I even bother like making a new one? And so, but every one of those dudes and like females, like all those people are hilarious. And so when we get together at Christmas or whatever, like you don't have to say anything. You just sit and just let them go. And like, if you can keep up, it's hilarious. But sometimes you can't keep up, and then you're like, I have no idea what's going on here anymore. So
And these are your newer friends over the years, or your high school friends? I missed that.
Like my high school friends, like they're all like so I went to art school for high school. We had like a magnet program.
Oh,
yeah. And so a lot of my friends are artists, and I think maybe that's like also where it was decided that I just didn't care what was going on about like what you thought about me, because like, well, fuck it, man, we're art school kids. It's fine. You can be as weird as you want to be. And yeah, and they're all still like weird. I know this kid who made his name's Kirby, and he made a video for Skrillex. Are you familiar with the artist Skrillex?
I'm familiar with some of the noises and sounds that were coming out of that. Yes.
Not a big fan, but whatever. He made a video for Skrillex, and he wanted it to be like a very pop, like, video, like something very easily accessible to pop culture. And so the video just has like a ton of like dolphins with lasers on their heads and vampires jet skiing. And that was his vision of like a easily like accessible pop culture video. Which is it's not easily accessible with pop culture. It's a bunch of dolphins with lasers on their heads fighting vampires on jet skis. But that's legit like what I grew up with. Like, to me, I was like, oh yeah, that's a normal thing. And then I got out to like Idaho, and I was like, wait, you guys don't have dolphins with lasers on their heads?
They probably do somewhere in Idaho.
I don't know. It's a landlocked state. They might have vampires on jet skis. I don't know, but.
So then maybe that's what it is. Like I feel like my normal growing up must have been, or at a certain point, so different than your normal. And perhaps that's what leads us and everyone else into what they become. But your normal has you just not concerning yourself with what is maybe the more common normal. Because I don't think your normal is the common normal at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, my normal is totally normal because it's just like normally how I am. But then I guess like the culture shock from Florida to Idaho was like it was like a very strange thing. And I think that's why I became good friends with John Haddon, because like Minneapolis and Idaho are completely different. And then you get into these weird places, and you're like, what is going on here? And that's actually why I left Florida to begin with. Because I was like, man, Florida's awesome. Because Florida is awesome. And all that shit you hear in the news about us being weird or whatever, like, that's all like, that's internet hoax. That's y'all just get the weird stuff. This is like a totally like normal and beautiful place to grow up. And it just makes you tough. Like there's a Category 3 hurricane bearing down on the state right now. I've not bought any water. I'm not buying water. I may move my car into the carport so that it doesn't get smashed by a tree. But other than that, like, it's fine. I got married in a Category 3 hurricane. Like, this is like whatever, man. You want to see another postcard? This is a postcard I made. Like, it says "fuck you, I'm from Florida," and that's just how we feel down here. And that's so that's what we do. So anyway, so we get to Idaho, and it's just like a very like simple, wholesome, mostly Mormon on that side of the state place. And yeah, I guess maybe I did just be like, man, I don't know. What are you guys doing out there? Idaho's not the Midwest. I'll give you that for a fact. That's the Rocky Mountain West. Minnesota's still the West, though. Y'all the Midwest.
Yeah, they say Midwest, but I don't even know why it's Midwest. It's very North Central if you look at a map, and if that even matters where it falls on the map.
Yeah, but y'all like North Midwest. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you're Kansas, although I've never really spent much time in Kansas. I drove through Kansas, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like but I don't know. Minnesota in itself is a weird place because you guys have fucking Prince. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, but you also have like the Replacements and Husker Du. You know, like, those are normal suburban kids who just picked up guitars and then blasted out all your normal suburban punk rock. You know, I think the drummer of Husker Du was like 14 when he was in the band, or something ridiculous like that. I don't know.
This is a type of music that I have not followed, so
Oh, come on, you got to know the Replacements and Husker Du. You're
I
from
probably
Minneapolis.
heard the music, but I wouldn't. I didn't know that was like a Minnesota thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You guys have a really good music history for being like not Chicago, I guess. Like Chicago is like Chicago, but Minneapolis, man, you got Prince, you got Husker Du and the Replacements, and of course Sugar, because that's an offshoot. And then your rap scene's amazing with Rhyme Sayers and the other one, Doomtree. You got
Yeah,
Lizzo right now. Lizzo's from Minneapolis.
I
She's
don't
talented.
know. Well, I figure out if she is. I know she mentions the Minnesota Vikings in the one song, but I don't think she I think she's from Texas, or maybe she
Yeah,
spent some time in Minnesota too.
she's from Houston. I think she was like born in Detroit, from Houston, but she lived in Minneapolis for a long time. I know because my homeboy lived in Minneapolis, and he was a rapper in Minneapolis. His name was Astronautilus. And he did a song with her like 2 or 3 years ago because he knew she was going to be super popular. And now it's like his #1 song on Spotify is the song with Lizzo because it says featuring Lizzo on it. So
It is. That's the trick.
yeah, she's Minneapolis. I mean, she's from Houston, but she's got Minneapolis like connections. So
What else did you observe from your 2 trips maybe to Minnesota? What tell us about us?
well, it's cold. I was there in January and November. No, November.
The
And
wedding was in September last year.
the wedding was in September. It's still pretty chilly. Um, yeah, it was funny. The first time I went, I spent a lot of time in St. Paul, which is nice because I was there on on business. But then we went through Minneapolis, and my friend Steve is like a Minneapolis historian. He's a journalist up there. I ended up knowing a ton of people in Minneapolis somehow. I'm not really sure. I'm in a fantasy football league with like 2 dudes from Minneapolis, and then Andy was there, I guess. I mean, that's how I got friends. But anyway, so Minneapolis was, it's weird because y'all got the hamster tunnels downtown, which are kind of dope. You just like never leave the inside of a building.
It's necessary at times.
Yeah. The one thing I will never forgive y'all for, though, is Totino's. Totino's Pizzeria, and Totino's Pizza is from Minneapolis. Did you know that?
I did. It was a very popular choice in my family growing up.
Yeah. Did you know that it's shut down? That they closed?
Yeah, I don't see them anymore. So apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all let Totino's close down, like pizza rolls and all. They just walked out. So I'm not really sure how you would let a cultural touchstone like that just slide away, but kids today.
I will take the blame on that. I did not stay in touch as much as I should. Had I a lot more Totino's in my later years, they'd probably still be in business. Especially my brother would eat like 2 Totino's pizzas every night for dinner.
Oh, they're so good. During football season, I eat a ton of pizza rolls. Me and the dog. He likes pepperoni. I'm vegetarian, so we gotta split them. But I think he actually just eats pepperoni so that I can't eat his. Is the problem. He's a very smart dog.
I'd imagine. What's your dog's name?
His name is Ulysses.
And how did you come up with that name for your dog?
I didn't. It's my wife's dog. She got him in Idaho, named him Ulysses. And then we got married, and now he's my dog. He's like an 18-pound Yorkie.
Okay. Barks a lot?
That's not a normal size. No, he doesn't bark at all, really, unless you're like coming in the door. He's the coolest little dog. He's very charming. I'd show you a picture, but he has a terrible haircut right now, so I'm not going to do that to him.
His hair.
Yeah, he got a haircut this week, and they cut it really short.
You didn't cut the hair? I kind of assumed you would cut the hair for some reason.
Nah, I don't cut his hair. I cut my own hair when I do cut my hair, but not his.
So, for the fun of it, let's talk about when you're old man reading the newspaper and getting angry. What makes you angry?
Oh man, what doesn't make me angry nowadays? Have you seen the world? It's incredible.
Yeah, not to, but I have to.
Yeah, man, it's crazy out there. The Amazon's on fire, and no one wants, the president of Brazil just doesn't want to do anything about it. Like, fuck, man, just put the fires out. But those fires are gonna clear land so Burger King go down there and raise some cows, so they could feed your Whoppers. That's what it is. It's farmers, man. They're clearing land for grazing livestock.
Yeah, so they're out of land, or some people don't have enough land, so they just cut down the forest.
Yeah, they cut down.
This happened for a long time, but right now,
yeah, we don't have that much forest left. Maybe stop eating so much meat.
it is a problem that I recognize is going to become worse and worse, and I guess that is Exhibit A of how it's becoming worse right now in that part of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. I mean, I got nothing, deeper than what you know. You know what I mean? Like, Nazis are bad. The Earth is good. Like, which is not fundamentally astonishing, but then you're like, holy shit, why don't you people know that Nazis are bad and the Earth is good? Like, is money that much more important?
I think money does drive us all in our own ways. Like, I used to not be driven by money the way that I think I am now. I still not the same way I perceive other people as, but I like having enough money to do all the things I want to do. It sure is nice.
You should do what I did. Just marry a successful person.
It's a great idea, Philip.
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Look into it, man. I mean, I'd give you mine, but she's paying most of my rent right now, so not going to give you mine. She's also an excellent baker. I'm telling you, I really lucked out with this one. Yeah, it's weird. The money. I mean, the money's the problem. The money's always the problem. So, but if you don't have any, then what are you fucking worried about? You're not gonna have any, Like, so when I moved to Idaho, I knew I was getting paid $500 a month to intern there, right? And that didn't include housing. So I had to get paid $500 a month and still pay rent and bills and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, well, how am I gonna do this? I need to have some money saved up so I can go out there and exist and eat. I did not know at the time that I was just gonna eat in the concession stand every night, which really saved me. But so I was talking to my friends. I was like, I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna get a second job. I'm gonna get a third job. I think I already had 2 jobs. So I was like, I'm gonna get a third job to save up money. And they're like, idiot, why don't you just sell some paintings? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I can just sell some paintings. And I was like, but I need $3,000. And they're like, yeah, so sell 30 paintings for $100. And I was like, that's ridiculous. No one's gonna buy my paintings for $100. So instead, I painted 100 paintings and sold them for $30. And I had a big art show in an abandoned basement of an abandoned library. And I think I only got up to 85 paintings. I did them 2 months. But I sold most of them. And that's how I made it through my first summer in Idaho, was living off of painting money. Because you can sell a ton of paintings for $30, even if they are shitty. And so that's how you have to reset your mind. Yeah, I need a ton of money, but you don't need that much money, man. You just need a little bit. What are you gonna do with all that money? What is Steve Bezos gonna do with fucking Steve Bezos? What's that guy's name? Alvin?
Jeff. Alvin sounds, but Alvin Bezos. Go on.
Alvin Bezos. You know my boy Alvin Bezos? Hey, works down at the car wash. That's a shitty job at Ranger every day. Yeah, Jeff Bezos. He's got what? $80 billion or some shit.
Yeah, a lot of it's in the stock in his company, but he's worth that. I'm sure he has a lot of cash too. I'm sure he has as much cash as he needs on a given day. I'm
sure he could buy one. Does he listen to this podcast? Hey, Alvin Bezos, listen up, man. I got these paintings for sale. They're $40,000 a piece.
I think AZ can tell him. He probably has his number.
Yeah, they're probably buddies at this point. They go to billionaire meetings. Big ups to Jay-Z for being the first billionaire rapper. He was in a tight race with Diddy and Dre. They're all racing to see who would be the first billionaire. And I think actually Hova won because he's got Beyonce with him. I think their combined totals $1 billion. So that's what I'm telling you, man. Get yourself a girl or a guy, doesn't matter to me, who's got money, who can make you money, and then you don't do anything. Jay-Z's put out one record in how many years now?
I'm gonna get on that right after we finish recording here, Fillup.
His last record is actually really good. Do you want to know why I like Jay-Z?
Why do you like Jay-Z?
You want my Jay-Z tangent here? Because when Jay-Z was young, which literally was in the 80s, that dude's like 55 years old. Like he, he's a drug dealer, whatever. He's a gangster, so he says. So his raps say. He's a gangster rapper, talking about whatever on his records. But now he's 55 years old, man. Like he's an old man who just like raps about old man shit, and like his last record was basically an apology to Beyonce for cheating on her and getting beat up in an elevator, But like that's some intense therapy to go through in a public process like that. But like he just got old, and now like you listen to all the SoundCloud rappers and all the all the shit that's out there, all the little weird kids with the face tattoos, and all their beats are just like computer generated beats, which is fine. Not hating on it. They can do what they want. I love it. Whatever. But Jay-Z just made a record with samples. Nobody samples shit anymore. And his record was chock full of samples. And even better, they're samples of what a 50-year-old dude would listen to, like Nina Simone. Like, little Uzi Vert's not listening to Nina Simone, though he should. But Hov is listening to Nina Simone. He's like, yo, put that sample. There's like 4 Nina Simone samples on his last record. That's insane. Hey, I like Hov because he's just like a 55-year-old dude who's still just doing what he wants.
Have you ever thought about having a YouTube channel or a podcast of your own, something where you can just express all of your ideas and maybe somehow make money off of that? And in addition to your art, you could probably do your paintings and you could just do this and talk to yourself. And I think people.
If I talk to myself, who would talk to the dog?
Well, the dog would think that you were talking to him.
The dog is sleeping right now. He doesn't care about this at all. He knows all this. He knows how I feel about Hova and T.I. And he knows that I think Jeezy needs to call up Rick Rubin and get that Johnny Cash American Unchained treatment, Jeezy really needs to start growing up, man. He can't put out trap music forever. You're a billionaire, man. Like, we get it. I seen your Instagram, Jeezy. Like, you're not in the hood no more. Just make a record, just sit down and tell us how you feeling now. Call up Rick Rubin. He will gladly put you in a booth with some boom baps.
Well, I don't have much to add to that, Fillup, but I think we can go to the serious part of the conversation, should there be such a thing.
There will be no.
Well, fine, you can take it over. You're the guest. But in the personal growth segment, I like my guests to talk about share something that you're doing that you like, you're seriously trying to improve yourself, or you have, and you feel like this is something that someone else could use as well to know what you've done or are doing. What comes to mind when I talk about that in your life?
It's a weird thing because I don't, my homeboy, Pablo Picasso, you ever heard that dude?
I've heard of Pablo Picasso, yes.
Yeah. That Modern Lovers song, no one ever called Pablo Picasso an asshole.
I don't know if I know that.
Look down at Modern Lovers. Funny thing is, he was an asshole the whole time. I don't know what Jonathan Richman was thinking. Picasso, real asshole, very misogynistic. But I think it was Picasso who said that if you are the same person at 50 that you were at 20, you wasted 30 years of your life, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty solid. Like, that's a pretty solid thing right there. You should always be growing. But yeah, I try not to. Growing up sucks, man. It's the worst. You end up dealing with like worrying about money and like legacy, and so you have kids to like, continue your legacy, and like, what does it mean, and what does life mean, and like, is it worth anything? And so, like, let's just say I die tomorrow, right? Dead. Maybe I'll die today. Maybe I'll go to work. I'll be working in the kitchen, and I'll fall on a knife 6 times. Yeah.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna try not to. I burn the hell out of my fingers all the time, though. Then what? Then you're just dead. And like, what's left? Like these like weird podcasts, 1,000 shitty paintings, and stories about how you fucking don't know, like, I don't know, gave a homeless guy a burrito once. And that's it, man. So yes, that's what I've been thinking. That's actually what I've been thinking about a lot, painting these paintings. Is like, cool, there are 1,000 paintings I've done out in the world, probably in a garage, possibly in a thrift store, or maybe just used to board up your windows during a hurricane. And that's totally legit. You know, you do what you want what you want with those things. Yeah. Is it worth it? Should you grow? I'm asking you. What's your personal growth like? Like, is it worth the pain and struggle of growing up?
Well, I think the one thing that when you ask me whether it's worth it is I find that because I'm trying to do all these different things to be better in some ways, it takes so much time where then I feel like I'm exhausted and I can never keep up with other things that I want to do.
Yeah. How many books are there that you haven't read yet?
Pretty much all of them that I've wanted to read.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm in this weird place. I worked in baseball for a decade. Basically, like, for like my entire adult life, because my 20s weren't very adult-like. But now I'm not in baseball. You know, like, Gainesville has a baseball team with UF. You know, I mean, 2018, 17 national champions. You know, but they don't have a job for me. You know, like, I might try to be Albert. You know, the mascot, the alligator, Albert the alligator. But like, I'm not in baseball anymore, and there's no clear avenue for me to stay in Gainesville and work in baseball or sports. You know, like, I have 1,000 good, like, promotional ideas. Like my idea for Not Dead Yet, where we just show a picture of someone on the video board that you think is dead, and turns out he's not dead. Bring him back to Minneapolis. You know who's not dead? Walter Mondale. Walter Mondale is 91 years old, not dead.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he still apparently goes down to the law office every day and does law. That's what Steve Marsh told me. Anyway, Walter Mondale, not dead. Could have fooled me. You know what I mean? Like, him and Jimmy Carter just won't die. One term and they'll never die. Anyway, so I'm not in baseball. I'm not in sports. No one wants my Not Dead Yet in-game promotion. So I figure out what to do next. Whether it's, you know, a hospital janitor or pressure washer or digital marketing. That's the thing. Or you just go back to school. You know, I spent 8 years in school because I thought doctors went to school for 8 years. So if I went to school for 8 years, I'd be a doctor. Not how that works. But yeah, you go back, maybe I'll become a car mechanic, you know, like, go to school to become an auto mechanic. Or maybe I'll go back to school and become like I don't know, psychologist, or whatever. And then you just start from scratch. Like, I'm almost 40, but I can do whatever I want right now, as long as my wife says it's okay. Another thing is, like Bill Withers, you know, Bill Withers. Bill Withers didn't pick up a guitar until he was like 30. Like, he didn't, like, all the shit you know about Bill Withers, Just the Two of Us, Lovely Day, you know, all Ain't No Sunshine, like, all that shit was recorded after he had like a career in the post office. It's weird. I'm pretty sure Bill Withers worked in the post office. Charles Bukowski worked in the post office. I just read this article about an artist yesterday, who's like, she's like 50. She worked in the post office, and then she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be an artist. Her name is, one second. What is her name? Oh wait, that's the wrong story. Hold on a second. You can edit this part out. Ruth Miller. Ruth Miller is an incredible embroidery artist who didn't really start till she was in her 50s. Like, you can do whatever you want whenever you want, man. Isn't that crazy?
It is kind of crazy because I think
Walter Mondale can live to be 91, and you can pick up a guitar tomorrow. You play the guitar?
I never have played a guitar.
What about drums? You play any instruments?
I was a percussion player in high school, junior high band, and somewhere into high school, then I stopped. So I did play some drums. I have some drum skills that are very lacking probably now, but I've learned a little.
Do you want to start a Replacements cover band?
With you, I would.
All right.
With nobody else.
I can't play any instruments, but
well, you could learn tomorrow. You just said.
I could learn. Actually, I honestly could not learn to play an instrument. I have the worst like rhythm and time in the world. I was in a band once.
On as a part of your personal growth, your rhythm and time could be improved.
Can you improve that sort of thing?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think that's like a natural thing, like big ears and no rhythm. That's just like how you're born. I don't know if you can teach rhythm. I think that's in your soul.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible that it's part of your genetic makeup.
Yeah. Anyway, I was in a punk band once, and I was lead singer because I couldn't do anything else. So, and I could never actually really sing in time with the music either. So I would just sing, and they would just play faster.
That works, though. As long as they can adjust, they're flexible. Flexibility is important.
They were professional musicians, man. They were good as hell. Yeah. Anyway, so you can do whatever you want tomorrow. That's crazy. Or you could do nothing tomorrow. That's just as good, actually.
So it seems like the way we had this discussion involving personal growth that you and I have taken a different approach to it. Like I'm on this attempt to be on this steady incline to get somewhere, and sometimes I don't even know where is. Where you kind of take it as just totally start fresh tomorrow and do something different. And there's really nothing stopping us at any point in our life from doing anything that we want to do.
You can do, and that might sound super cheesy, but like, literally you can do whatever you want. Because what's the matter? And like, this is sort of like darker than I probably should go publicly, but like, let's just say tomorrow you start painting, right? Do you paint? Can you paint?
I think I'm as bad at that as you think you are with musical instruments.
All right, cool. So just start painting tomorrow. Just do it. Because like I can't paint either. You know what I mean? Like I have like a very like highly stylized style, but like people will be like, "Yo, paint a picture of my dog." I'm like, "I can't paint a picture of your fucking dog." And like, "Well, paint a picture of my sister." I'm like, "If your sister has a mustache, maybe I can do it." Because like I painted a picture of Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck once, and the only reason you can tell it's Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck is they have mustaches. You know, and like one wears a Detroit hat, and the other one but like I can't fucking paint shit like that. But I still paint. You know what I mean? I just do it, whatever. Because at the end of it, like I did all this shit and whatever. It passed the time, and now I'm dead. So fuck it. So tomorrow, learn to paint. Don't even learn to paint. Just start painting. And grow yourself that way. And if you never get good at it, well, fuck it. You never got good at it.
That's the thing about life, that while we're living, we're like the center of the universe in our own way, because that's all we can be. But one generation from now, or a generation after we die, almost no one remembers us. 2 generations, probably no one remembers us. 3 generations, no chance. Like I was looking into my family history a little bit. Recently, just to try to figure out where exactly, when and where we came from. And like I look at my grandparents, who have now, many of them have been gone for some years, not all. And then like their parents, like I don't remember their names, and and it's like there's no record of where these people came from. Someone probably knows, but it's so long forgotten. That's 3 generations, and really just people that some of them probably were living when I was born. I don't even know. We forget so quickly. And those are our ancestors. The rest of the world's totally not going to care about us.
Not at all.
They don't care about us now, anyhow.
Not until they find you in a grave 1,000 years after you're dead, and you're wearing a weird necklace, and they're like, "Oh, this guy died with a weird necklace on," and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Put him with the other bones," you know. My mom's doing her genealogy thing, and it's difficult as an Irish Catholic because they're all fucking named John. There are 1,000 Johns in my family. It's John, James, Patrick, and that's it. So you can't even do your family history because you get so confused on which James and John this is, because everyone has a son named John, and that person has a nephew who they named after their uncle John. So you go back to your tree, and there's 15 Johns in a generation. So there are at least 5 Mikes in my family.
That's troublesome for that genealogy research.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that's why it's totally fine to name your kid like Apple Bottom or whatever the fucking name your kid. So I lost my house shit.
So enjoy your life. Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, man.
If you find yourself growing by doing something different, that's great. But if not, whatever. Just enjoy your life.
You know, like waste your life, I guess. And you should like grow. I mean, I'm sure, but like you're gonna grow anyway.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true.
That's the thing. Is like there are these people like go on these missions and like fucking go to Peru and do ayahuasca or like climb Mount Everest, like hoping to find something better in themselves. But like you could just like do that. Like it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna walk out of your building one day and make a friend out of a homeless guy, and that's gonna change your life. Like you're gonna, as long as you're like walking, you're fine. Like just be there, be wherever you are, and you will change. I don't know. I mean, like you look at all these people, fucking voted Republican because they vote Republican, and now look at them. Now they're like, oh fuck, we shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So maybe now in the future they'll think more critically about voting for the party instead of for actually voting for someone who's not a complete like insane maniac with no empathy. So yeah, you just fucking if you're alive, you'll be growing. Unless you're just like some stubborn dude who refuses.
And I think there are people like that, but they're probably also not interested in a personal growth segment on the People I Know show.
Exactly. So that's the thing is like, I think the key to personal growth is like talking to people and being empathetic. And I think that's the real problem is like empathy. That's the solution, right? You want personal growth? Here it is. That's your personal growth. We're working through this through real time here, Curt. Empathy. That's how you get personal growth. Just be empathetic to everybody you know. Homeless guys on the street, like Alex Rodriguez is like not a homeless man on the street. He's also a dummy. And he's always been a dummy. And he's kind of a jerk because no one's ever treated him like a real person. Gwyneth Paltrow's the same way. Gwyneth Paltrow lives on the fucking moon. She is like a space cadet. Have you been on goop.com?
No.
Man, you should look at goop.com. There's some fucking weird shit on there. And it's expensive as hell. It's so expensive. But why? Like who's spending $75 on a marble vagina egg to like clear their vagina chi? Like fucking what is going on here, Gwen? Like what are we doing? But she's just fucking rich, and she's always been rich, and she comes from a rich family, and she's like not a normal person, and no one treats her like a normal person. They treat her like she's Gwyneth Paltrow, which she is. But
that's her normal. Just like your normal, different than my normal.
Yeah. And so you can't be like, Alex Rodriguez is a real jerk. Because Alex Rodriguez, he doesn't know he's a jerk. He's never been around real people. The dude has been like on a pedestal since he was 16 years old. The dude made the majors at like age 19. He's been the greatest baseball player alive.
And he found a way to marry someone. I think he's married to someone wealthier, a woman wealthier than he is. And he was pretty.
Yeah. Like I read a Sports Illustrated article with him, and his ex-wife, who you would think hates him or whatever, is just like he's such a better person because he's been going through like therapy and like figuring out that like, oh shit, my normal was like kind of a dick, but he didn't know that. He was just like on a different world because everyone treated him different. So like, yeah, Alex Rodriguez is a real jerk, but like that's not all his fault, man. He is a dummy though, but that's just because he's a dummy. So you need to be more empathetic to Alex. What I'm saying is I've listened to the old podcast, and you're always bagging on A-Rod, Curt. You just need to relax on him. He's a good guy. He's just had like a very weird upbringing, and now he's like figuring it out. So just be nicer to him.
That might have been someone else's podcast you're listening to.
No, man, you're always bagging on A-Rod. Just talk about it.
I did have one experience with him way back in the day at a Mariners Cubs spring training game in Mesa, Arizona, where think it was Jay Buhner was gladly signing autographs for everybody, and A-Rod just totally was a jerk and didn't give a crap about anybody and walked away.
Yeah,
so
that's
right.
That's what everyone says. But it's not A-Rod's fault. He just didn't know that he had to be nice.
He didn't know that I was there and that we'd be talking about him right now and that this matters not at all to him anyhow.
I'm sure Jay-Z's going to send him the link. Jay-Z's like, oh, wait, yo, hey, man, they're talking about you. So, yeah. Just be more empathetic. Be nice.
Fillup, the final segment is the being wrong segment.
Well, that'll be a thing.
Is there something that you can look back on and say, certainly something big that might be useful to others that you can say, yep, I was wrong about that. And I'm totally changing my thinking or my actions now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so wrong all the time. That's like difficult not to be wrong. Well, I don't know. I think the first thing that popped in my head, because we were talking about it earlier, was like when I was a kid and I wasn't drinking or smoking dope with you dopers. And it used to really bother me, like as a teenager, because I just felt like it's a very isolating experience to be at a party and like not be like where you, like I can hang with y'all to a certain level. You know what I mean? Like while you're getting high, like you're just passing me on the next level up. You know what I mean? Like especially if you're like a boring teenager. But then you go further up than I can get, and I'm like, all right, this is boring. This is very isolating. So I had a lot of times in high school and shit where I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, fucking, this is terrible. But then I got older and I was like, wait, it's totally fine. Like, you know, I used to like hold like not grudges, but like I used to like it was like a personal affront that you would get high. You know, like you can't have fun without being high. And then I was like, wait, no, it's totally fine if they want to get high. Like, it doesn't matter to you at all. Like, it's you being high doesn't affect me at all. Like, it affects our conversation, our interaction. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's where I just started to learn to like be more empathetic. You know, be nice. You just have to like be. You just have to really understand where people are coming from and what they're doing. And for a long time, like I didn't have that capability. And then I got older, and I was like, well, shit, man. They want to get high, they want to get high. That's fine. So, but it all goes back to that empathy.
So, yeah, and if you're looking through other people through the lens of yourself, of how they should be living their life based on how you think you should live your life, then, yeah, no one's going to quite get it right. You're not going to get it right yourself, but no one else is going to be right either, because how could they? But if you try to look at the lens of them and what they're going through, it does change everything.
100%. Like it's a very strange thing because like you're right, nobody's getting this right. If fucking Gwyneth Paltrow can't get it right, then we're all screwed. You know what I mean? And she, I think, just moved in with her husband. So it's just like you just have to fucking chill out. Everyone just needs to chill out, relax, show a little more empathy. And if you got a burrito, give it to the homeless guy. If you don't have a burrito, at least talk to him. Say hello. Look him in the eye. You know, like acknowledge that he exists, and you'll be fine. If that person has to deal with his weird trauma in a way, then let him deal with his trauma in a weird way. As long as it's like not destructive or like too destructive. Everyone could be a little self-destructive, but not so self-destructive that they destroy themselves. In which case, if they want to destroy themselves, then fuck it, let them go.
And sometimes it seems to happen.
Unless you love that person and you don't want them to destroy themselves, then you have to step in. But yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Words of wisdom from.
They're words, at least.
They're words. They might be
words.
And you can get back to your painting here shortly as we'll wrap this up. Fillup_G_art on Instagram. I would really like to know if and when someone that happens across this podcast buys one of your pieces of art, because I think it'd be really cool if someone else finds you.
I'd also like to know if you're listening to this podcast. First, hello. And second, just yeah, buy some art, man. Let me know you heard us on the podcast. Maybe I'll give you free shipping.
What a deal.
Use code word Curt. I'm Curt's friend.
I'm Curt's friend. Yeah.
Use code word I'm Curt's mom.
Gail might end up buying some art from you. I think
man, Gail. How is Gail?
Gail's doing well, I think.
No, that's good. I always love Gail.
You've never met my mother.
No, but we should get together.
We should. Come visit us again in Minnesota.
Nah,
One of
fuck that, man.
Minnesota nights.
Y'all come down to Florida. If we make it past Dorian Gray over here, you come down and see us.
Okay. Well, be safe out there.
Bring Baby J. You know he loves Gainesville.
I think he does. He likes going everywhere.
He does. So besides, I've been up there twice. You ain't never been down here. You owe me a trip. So pack up, Baby
J.
There,
but see you.
Pack up, Baby J. Y'all come down. We'll you guys can go floating in a spring with alligators and water moccasin mating balls, and I'll sit on the banks in a lawn chair with a soda and wave as you go by. It'll be like a parade.
That sounds both amazing and awful at once. I don't know.
You know how many alligators we have down here? We're not the Florida Gators because it's a cool name. We're the Florida Gators. There are fucking alligators everywhere. And they climb trees. They hunt from trees. They will just drop on you like a 400-pound dinosaur.
I can't imagine.
Alligators, man. It's a real thing.
Thanks, Fillup.
All right, come see me. Actually, that's for everybody. If you're listening, come on down to Gainesville. You can stay at the house.
Sweet. We'll make it happen. I'll put the address in the show notes as well.
Put the address on there. And we'll
All right.
We got a 24-hour pizza place. Come see it.
Take care, brother.
All right, buddy.